So as we're looking ahead to Sentry, we should talk about is the greatest threat he poses on the other Avengers in Doomsday. Is it a psychological threat, the way the Void posed, or is it a physical threat, like ripping people in half?
Yeah.
We have some quotes that I wanted to share. Jake Schreier spoke to SFX magazine, a sister magazine to Cinema Blend, and they asked him about, the Thunderbolts, because we know the Thunderbolts, including Sentry, are joining Avengers Doomsday. And they basically asked him, are you, setting any stones? Are you in the road that you're paving to Doomsday? And he goes, there might be some stones or pebbles. I don't know how you want to rate your rocks. Look, you know the character that we're talking about.
Why would he say that? That's perfect. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But that is like, was this after the movie?
I think he was just like doing a bit. Jake Schreier
gave it away.
Well, I think he's just saying like there is a big character coming back. He goes, you know the character we're talking about, and you know that there's a level of power involved there that could have an impact going forward. I'm not making Doomsday, so I'm not privy to that.
My boy just told us that Ben Grimm is gonna show up.
That's how you read it.
That's how I read it. When you say pebbles, rocks.
I think he's just saying, I think it was in the context of the way he was asked the question. Like, are you setting any stones?
Oh, I guess that's true.
On the path.
Okay, that's true. That is true.
In a road that you're paving.
I literally was like, was this before or after the movie dropped?
But I did think like, rate your rocks. So I rate Ben Grimm rocks 9.1.
9.1? Damn, that's not even a 10. That's not even a 10.
But the rocks can still taste. He's got a taste
you're
buds
eating
on the rocks.
rocks?
No, his rocks are capable of tasting whether a sauce needs more garlic in it.
That is true. Okay,
those are good rocks. Those are talented rocks.
I hate you.
So Doomsday is definitely gonna have Sentry, and it looks like there's like a level of power. And now I'm questioning, does Jake Schreier just mean like the fact that he can best any Avenger who comes at him? On the red carpet for Thunderbolts, Lewis Pullman said of his character Sentry, he's very full of heart and full of a lot of different complexities. He's sort of a physicalization of many of the different shades of our personality that we don't get to see personified. Comicbook.com asked Lewis Pullman who he'd want to see his character share a scene with in Doomsday, and he was pretty cagey about it and didn't want to answer because he didn't want Marvel getting mad at him. But ultimately, he did say Thor, and he goes, I think it'd be cool to have a little Thor crossover because I've worked with Chris in the past, and that would be a really bizarre meeting of two worlds.
Where did he work with Chris?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh, Lewis Pullman's in the bad. He's the camera boy.
Yeah,
sorry.
He worked together. Drew Goddard directed. Yeah,
spoilers for the camera boy.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Why would he choose that? Okay.
Well, I think like he kind of called Thor out a little bit in Thunderbolts, where he's like, you said I'm stronger than all the Avengers rolled into one, and there's at least one god in the Avengers, so shouldn't I be a god? And he's referring to Thor. I think he idolizes Thor the most, at least with the hair.
It makes sense. It makes sense. If he's called a god, there is the number one god in the MCU, and I don't think he's my number one god. My number one god is Zeus. I'm joking. Is Zeus laying there eating?
I like that weird Dionysus god.
Oh yeah, the one that got cut.
He got cut. Loki is our number one god.
Right? Yeah, Loki is our number one. But to the public, Loki did do a lot of bad things, so they're gonna choose Thor. So it makes sense you choose Thor. I don't know if Lewis Pullman has read the comics where Thor is the one that kills him in the comics, but I mean, hey. It's possible that they'll hang out together.
I think different Avengers are going to fear different things about 100%. Sentry. Like, I think people like Thor are going to be like, maybe we do cast an Ares in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and he does get ripped in half, and that scares all other gods like Thor, Hercules, Loki.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Hercules that gets ripped in half, dude.
They're
gonna bring him for Doomsday, and he's gonna get ripped in half, dude. 100%. I don't think they're gonna bring in Ares. I think they're gonna rip Hercules in half.
See, I hope it's Zeus. I hope they get Russell Crowe.
That would make sense. That would make sense
because like his character was too goofy. I think we kind of like seeing him get ripped in half. And seeing
Zeus get ripped in half, even though he's like lazy and gluttonous, it's still like Zeus is being ripped in half.
Also, ripped in half is a hard thing to do, and we saw Homelander do it in the recent season of The Boys, right? Didn't he rip someone in half?
Yeah, and he's very strong.
And you go from like the shoulder.
Yeah, he has to go for the soft spot to like. They did like a weird math for the show to figure out what's the easiest part to tear.
It wouldn't work.
But you have to. He can dig his fingers into the throat part, and then he separated the shoulder from. It's gross, and don't watch that scene because it's filthy. It's disgusting, and I hated it.
I just feel like the body doesn't have perforated edges like that. It's gonna zigzag in some weird, messy way.
Your skin absolutely should. If I learned anything from Sinners, your skin should absolutely be like teared like paper. Like it should have ragged edges.
Yeah. Or it's gonna be like a bag of Trader Joe's cheese
You're having a hard time,
it's just
aren't
kind
you?
of melted a little bit, and I'm like,
you're just having a hard time.
You're just having a hard time. I just want my night cheese.
And not to sidetrack or pull this away or go off the rails as we usually do. I just think boys can't open those bags. Like the cheese bags. They're
designed for women, is what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what's wrong with your guys' dainty little fingers that you guys can't open a bag of cheese. I've had so many men hand me these bags of cheese to be like, I can't open it. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't open it?
I do have to wake up Kelly in the middle of the night and be like, Kelly, night cheese.
I need my night cheese,
Kelly. She goes,
be a normal person and open the shredded bag and dig your hands in it and just take a little bit and then go back to sleep. You don't need a slice of cheese. You just need a little shredded.
I don't think it's our fingers are dainty. I think we're missing some muscles or some tendons in our fingers that allow us to, or maybe it's just like we're stubborn and impatient.
You get just so frustrated because I'm literally, I don't have nails. I bite my nails, so I literally am like, how can I open this and you cannot?
Yeah, it's not the nails. I thought for a while it was the nails. I think what it is men are just used to things coming easy to us. Like,
so
for the first time in my life, something didn't happen the way I wanted it to.
So all these men have been tricking me for years, and I've been falling for it. The ploy. Teach a man to fish my ass. I was just doing it. That's crazy. That's crazy work. And now I'm gonna be like this every time a man asks for help opening a bag.
Okay, so we have like Thor versus Sentry that I feel like the fear is the ripping in half. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, not to sidetrack. This could also be why Thor's crying.
Okay, so Thor's crying because he got ripped in half.
Yeah, we didn't see the bottom part, or if he does rip Loki in half.
Oh no, I couldn't handle seeing.
We've
Tom
seen
Hiddleston.
Loki die so many times.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could see it again.
His neck got snapped, which
and that was
pretty brutal, pretty ugly. I don't think it'll be Loki.
Okay,
but
sorry, I didn't mean to keep
going. I don't know. So there's a physical threat. There's people who can fly. Obviously, you got Sentry to fear, and then psychological threats. Other than the characters we saw in Thunderbolts, who is the most broken? Scarlet Witch? Can we Wanda? Probably has a lot of shame, a lot of guilt.
I was gonna say Moon Knight.
Moon Knight would be
and I think Moon Knight would be a good actual person to fight Sentry because he has Khonshu, and I don't think Khonshu dies by just the Void because we're mixing like. Because he's technically not there, right? He's like a spirit.
He is.
So it's like,
a deity.
But he can still.
He's a moon deity.
But can he touch people?
Yes.
Okay.
He touched me.
Shut the hell up.
In my heart.
Shut the hell up. So we have. I just remember him going through that town and just knocking things over. I don't remember him hitting any actual person there, but. I was like, I think that's the person, someone you can't touch is going to be a real hard battle. And someone that already has to deal with their own turmoil. Because I'm like, well, if you send him to the Void, he's basically just going to be talking to himself and being like, okay, all three of us need to get out of here again.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would love to see Khonshu fighting the Void.
Yeah.
The moonlight versus the darkness, the shadow.
Oh, yeah.
What a cool looking fight.
Could Light... I know this is like a stupid like cartoony thing, but I'm like, could Light just like a beam of very powerful Khonshu light just wipe out the Void or like at least knock him out a little bit, put him back inside Bob for a minute?
Well, you know what's interesting that Jake Schreier said about the Void and the way that he voids people. He flattens them in the shadows when, Perry from Collider was asking him about the design and he said it was like based on the Hiroshima blast shadows.
Oh, yeah.
He went further and he said that like the way they wanted it to look is they animated it to be exactly 1.5 frames because it needed to be fast, but not so fast that we couldn't see it and needed to be almost within a blink. And he said that they never showed it they avoided showing it in profile. They wanted it to be either at us or away from us to look like an eclipse. And I think in that he was hinting at the fact that like, obviously you can say that all darkness is just the absence of light or all light is the absence of darkness, however you want to look at it. Shadow though is something separate. Yeah. Shadow means that there is something in the way of the light, that something is blocking the light and that the light is not touching it because something else is in the way. And so that's what the Void is. The Void is just not the presence of darkness or the absence of light. The Void is that something is obstructing the light, if you want to really get conceptual about this.
He could probably still take on Khonshu.
Yeah.